Welcome, everyone. It's so wonderful to see so many familiar faces, and I'm so grateful that you all could come to honor our dear friend Linda, and welcome also to those of you on the live stream. I'm going to play first, and I'll have a little bit to say after. Trying to find a note on my phone. Technology has never been my strong point. So again, welcome and thank you so much for coming. Linda meant so much to so many of us, and I thought, what better tribute than to play some really beautiful music for us to come together. Um, I was trying to get my thoughts together, and I found on Linda posted on her tribute wall the following from her dear friend Henri, and I just simply like to read it because it says everything that's in my heart. I miss you so much, Linda. You were so musical and so cultured, so clever and so full of humor, so sensuous and so thoughtful, so sensitive and so delicate, so righteous and so straightforward, so genuine and so generous, so determined, so realistic, so athletic and so worldly, so affectionate and so worthy of affection, so lovely and so lovable. What a joy to have had Linda Laurent as a friend for so many years. And as I said, it echoes my sentiments exactly. I first met Linda in 1983 when she asked that I join a group over at Trinity, and we played many chamber concerts there for a few years, and then I enticed her to CCSU, where we played for many, many more years. And I remember playing just recently in 2023, we played the third Bach Gamba Sonata, and what a joy. We had so much fun working on the piece. We'd have cups of tea and enjoy just rehearsing. And so I thought playing Bach would be appropriate. So now I'd like to introduce a very special student, Jason Castonguay. Jason contacted me, he's here, I hope. Hi, come on over. Jason contacted me and said he'd like to give a tribute and play something for Linda. And I know he has something to share and say as well. So here is Jason.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here, not only as an audience member, but as a performer as well. I chose this piece because some of you who know me know that I learn music by ear, and it is only more recently that I finally took the plunge and learned or began studying Braille music in earnest. And Braille music has opened up so much for me. I think especially the ability to see exactly what the composer intended in terms of expression and notes in the music, text notes as well as the music notes. And I thought Linda would enjoy or would have enjoyed getting to understand some of that with me. I think the best part of it is that I get to interpret for myself the music rather than learning it through someone else's interpretation. And so without further ado, I will play my piece for you.
evening. My name is Matt. This is my wife, Corey. And it's just such a privilege to, number one, be here again. I think it's been 10 years since I last performed here in Founders Hall. And it's a privilege not only to also play with Professor Ribchinsky, but also to honor my teacher, Dr. Laurent, whom I studied with from 2005 to 2009, who was also my friend and a mentor. Just a couple things about her that I remember that I'd like to share that really stand out to me was she was always so very caring and very genuine in our lessons, and also outside even after I graduated. When I would email her and keep in touch with her, she would always say, "Tell me more about how you're doing. Tell me about your life." She was always very interested. She was always very supportive and encouraging, especially making sure that I was prepared and ready for recitals. It just made a huge impact on me. She was really someone I really looked up to in my life as a mentor, and I'm just so grateful to have known her. During the last 2 or 3 years of her life is when I became a lot closer to her, visiting her more after her husband passed away. And that's when my wife, Corey, was introduced to her, and she really took a liking to her. Both Corey took a liking to Dr. Laurent, and also vice versa.
It's a privilege to be here to commemorate Dr. Laurent. As my husband said, yeah, I met her through him. It was, I think, in 2022, Julie and Dr. Laurent did a concert together, and at the end, we were talking to her, and she invited herself over our apartment, and she was about to move out of her West Hartford house, so she was looking for people to give away things to downsize. And so she came over, and we really hit it off. And over the next few years before she passed, we became very close. I really just found myself admiring her as a person. She was just very sophisticated, very intellectual, very intelligent, but also just very caring, a great listener, just so interested in you. So I just found her to be one of the most amazing people I've ever met, and really fun to hang out with, despite the 50-year age difference between us. And, you know, the most amazing thing really is she gave me this instrument. This belonged to her husband, Jerry, that I'm sure many of you knew. And that was just really overwhelming, the generosity that she demonstrated toward me. And I'm really grateful that I get to play his violin for you guys that she gave me in her memory. So we just miss her very much. We miss Dr. Laurent a lot. She was amazing.
So we chose this piece mainly because the melody is just really so beautiful, serene-like, and just so full of emotion. And I think it expresses how we both feel having known Dr. Laurent and having lost her.
such a pleasure to hear that gorgeous piece that Linda and Jerry played many, many times, and to hear it played on Jerry's violin. And it's just surreal. It's just absolutely wonderful. Um, we're going to now play a Mendelssohn trio, which Linda, Jerry, and I first played in 1993. We formed as a trio in 1992 and played concerts in this space every semester. We even carted the piano, and I have a photo collage to prove it, outside at Linda's direction. She showed us, exactly what we needed to do, so we wheeled the piano out there and pushed it out into the courtyard and gave a series of concerts. And that was quite something. So we hope you enjoy the Mendelssohn Trio, which was we were all very fond of playing. Thank you.
Everyone can hear me all right? Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. My name is Ethan Sadoyan, and I was a student of Dr. Laurent from 2011 to 2015, and a friend ever since then. I can say from a student's perspective, for myself and my colleagues, one of the word that I would use to describe how the esteem that we held Dr. Laurent in was one of reverence. She was revered amongst the student body. It was just this such an intelligent, elegant, talented woman who had shared her talents across the world, really, and then was just made history come alive in her classroom. And that's what led to that reverence. And I certainly had that for her. And even then some, because I got to have that knowledge, that experience, that wisdom applied to my own playing in the piano lessons that I had with her for 4 years. And so that was just such an amazing gift. But beyond that, I didn't get to just have that. I also got to have her as a friend, and we had fun over the years. There'd be many times when I would come into my lessons, and we would do some a little gossiping, and I would share with her some stories that were from the students and what they'd say about professors. I probably shouldn't have getting back to the professors, and I'd be like, don't tell anyone I said this, but blah, blah, blah. And then for her part, she would say, then tell me the things that happen in the closed-door faculty meetings. I probably shouldn't get back to the students. And she would be, well, this stays between you and me, but, and then it goes like that. So, we had fun like that. Another story that I love sharing is in I think it was December 2013, we were preparing for a chamber group that I was going to be doing with her the next semester. And the instrumentation of the group was determined by it was the 3 music students who are also honor students in our graduating class. And so it was an interesting combination of piano, flute, and soprano. But as it turns out, there is a niche of rep for that, and a lot of it is early 20th century French, which Dr. Laurent was really an expert in. But as we were preparing for this group, and we were trying to choose rep, and it was a couple days before Christmas, and it started early in the evening. We were just emailing back and forth, ideas, things we had found, what we thought. And this went on for hours. It literally went on until 2 in the morning. And eventually we were like, you should go to bed. Well, no, you should go to bed. Well, I want to look at this. You should go to bed. So ever since then, for years after that, even in the last few months of her life, there was a time when I sent her an email, and it was past 11:30 at night. And when I saw her response the next morning, it started with, I see you're still keeping your late hours as usual. And then another famous story that I love to share is Dr. Laurent was well known for her hairdos. And most of the time I was a student, it was that braid that went around the top of her head. And one August leading up to the semester, a rumor started spreading amongst the student body that was, Dr. Laurent, we heard she changed her hair. Did she change her hair? So some of my friends who I was in a chamber group with, they knew, I was close with her, so they tried to have me go and get the inside scoop. And they said, don't tell her that people are asking, but see if you can get that. So I went to her and said, Dr. Laurent, some of the students are asking about this. Could you confirm or deny whether this is true? And all she didn't write anything back. She just sent back a picture of her severed braid. And so that was how we learned. And then we saw in person a few weeks later. So that's always a fun memory. So we had a lot of fun, but also beyond that, she was. She just really was a help, a support, and an encouragement to me over the years. And that extended well beyond when I was a student to the years afterwards, where we would meet up frequently for lunch, for dinners, sometimes going out to a restaurant, or I would always enjoy when she would invite me over to her house, and both her and her husband, Mr. Rosa, just welcomed me in and were just so kind and generous. And it was always such a treat because her house was so elegant, and her meals were so elegant and simple and tasty and healthy, but there was always room at the end for ice cream and cookies every single time. Even the last time I saw her, just a little less than a month before her death, she invited me over, and she was still up and around and well enough to make me dinner, capped off by ice cream and cookies. So I'll always cherish those memories, conversations that we had, just about me sharing what was going on in my life, my adventures. She loved hearing about hiking trips I'd been on, and she would share with me her trips to Paris, or more recently, her trips to her friend Richard's family's house on the island. We would share just thoughts about music and musicians and performers and performances, and just, the sort of thing that you can't share with just anyone. And so that was always special. And she was always just such a support over the years. When I was a student, there was a time in my last year when I was really struggling with several things. And there was times where I would come into my lesson and never even open up the top of the piano cover. I just needed to talk, and she just allowed that. And she was always just a listening ear and a support and an encouragement. One of the things that we talked about, among others, was just my decision to not continue pursuing music professionally, which was a tough decision. But she was always very, very supportive over the years, and even in intervening years when I would question that decision, she was always very supportive. Even the last time I saw her, that came up in conversation, and I said, I always wonder what could have been. And she said, I think you made the right choice. Oh, you absolutely could have made it as a professional musician, but it's very hard, and you're still able to, provide for yourself and still able to pursue music just because you enjoy it. And that sort of support always just meant the world to me. So my life has absolutely been enriched by Dr. Laurent, both as a teacher and her friendship over the years. The pieces that I'm playing tonight, I chose and prepared especially for the occasion. Dr. Laurent, of course, was really an international expert in early 20th century French music, especially of composers who had interaction with the singer Jane Bathory. So as I begin this, I'm thinking, man, I'm not going to have Dr. Laurent around to always very gently correct my very poor French pronunciation. But the first piece is a prelude by Maurice Ravel. Ravel was a composer who collaborated frequently with Jane Bathory, both her premiering pieces that he had performed and him writing pieces that were dedicated to her. In addition, in Dr. Laurent's later life, in a number of her performances, she programmed Ravel's sonatine. So I'm playing this kind of in memory of that. The second piece is by Olivier Messiaen. It's the Pièce pour le tombeau de Paul Dukas. Now, Messiaen was a composer who I had seen the name. I didn't know how to pronounce it, and wasn't familiar with him or his music. But I was introduced to it in the fall 2013 semester when Dr. Laurent with the Connecticut Trio and Tom Labradorf performed that piece here on campus. And that performance was, to this day, one of the most, especially that last movement with Mr. Rosa's violin soaring in the stratosphere, one of the most sublime performances of live music that I've been able to experience. And so that was amazing. And, I think about how that quartet of amazing musicians performing that amazing piece 12 years ago, the only one who's still with us is Julie Ribchinsky. And Professor Ribchinsky, you're a gem. And my colleagues and I have been so fortunate over the years to be able to hear you perform and for you to share your gift. And we're especially fortunate now that we still get to do that. So thank you. But this piece is a piece that Messiaen wrote in memory of his teacher at the Paris Conservatory, Paul Dukas. A number of his students came together and wrote pieces in his memory. So I thought it was appropriate to play this piece in Dr. Laurent's memory. And then the last piece is Adieu from L'Automne by Darius Milhaud. And Milhaud is a composer who also collaborated with Jane Bathory, writing music for her that she performed, but also there are recordings that exist from the 1920s and 30s of Milhaud accompanying her on the piano as she sang. So there's that connection. And then just the idea of, it's the collection of pieces called Autumn, and this particular piece is Adieu, goodbye. So it's goodbye to autumn, and how autumn is rhetorically, both in music and poetry and literature, often used as a symbol of endings, and this is kind of like that final goodbye. I just thought it was appropriate and just a kind of a good send-off tonight to Dr. Laurent's memory, to our teacher, our colleague, our friend. So thank you all.
So I chose these three pieces by Nadia Boulanger. Many of you know that Linda studied with Nadia Boulanger in Paris. And I think her studies there informed this musicianship that Linda had that was scholarly, yet sophisticated, yet elegant and warm and personable. And I think she got a lot out of studying with the famous Nadia Boulanger, who was known for bringing out in her students the very best, be they performers or composers. I have a number of people I want to thank before we finish the program, and invite you to stay and look at the amazing collage that Corey put together. And there is a music bed under that that is Linda performing Schubert Impromptu. So I hope you'll stay for a few minutes and share stories. I also want to thank all the performers, Matt and Ethan and Jason and Corey. I know we've had a lot of fun playing in this space. It's just, for me, it's just incredibly meaningful to be in the space where Linda and I, but mainly Linda, played so many performances. And also, not to underestimate the beautiful piano that we now have here that we get to play on and you get to hear. So we're extremely grateful for that. Of course, I need to thank the music department, and especially June Aino, who is back there manning the live stream. And anything we asked, June came up with, from laying out the program to doing all the tech, and just countless other little details. June was right there, and we're so grateful. June has been in the department for many years now in different capacities, and as a professor and as an administrator, she's indispensable. I'd also like to thank Susan, who helped organize the program and typed it up and put her thoughts together with mine, and we just love to collaborate. We've played a lot together in the past, and I hope we have more to go in the future. I also would like to thank Maggie Rosa, Jerry's sister-in-law, who called me a few days ago and said, I'd like to send flowers. I think it would be nice to have them. So we have amazing flower arrangements from each door. Maggie is on the live stream, I hope, and couldn't make it down from Maine to be here, but we're thrilled of the flowers, and we thank you so much. And so now, Nadia Boulanger.
Hi, I'm Susan Chang, and I teach piano here at CCSU now. I've known Linda since 2005 when I started teaching here, and in the early years when I knew Linda, I only knew her really as a colleague who held her students and also her colleagues sort of at the highest standards in everything that we do, and I really admire her for that. But in the last few years, probably the last 3 or 4 years, I've spent more time with her as friends, and I'm starting to get the idea that everyone goes and we all enjoy meals and cookies and tea with her, and it's like a really nice time. We have wonderful conversations, and she just really inspired. She's really inspired me as a teacher, and I think she's been a real inspiration to me, whether it's just as a person, as someone who works with people, someone who helps other people, and just who really cares about people. And I really miss her, and I think one of the things that I remember that we've done a lot in the last few years is we would have our visits, we would have our chats, and we always play for each other. And Brahms is one of my favorite composers, as well as Bach. And one of my best memories was I think maybe just a few months ago when Linda played the entire English suite, I think in F major, and she did the whole thing, and she was just practicing and playing it. It was so beautiful that it's so inspired that I'm like, I need to practice more. And I would play Brahms for her. So it's just a very nice time that I, remember having with her. And I'm so grateful that I've had her as a close friend in the last few years. And yeah, so tonight I decided to play the second movement of the Brahms Third Sonata. It's a slow movement, and Brahms actually included a poem in the score. I want to give you sort of like a rough translation. The poem says, "The twilight falls, the moonlight gleams, two loving hearts unite in love, and enfolded in a rapturous embrace." So I'd like to dedicate this to Linda's memory.